Are you still unable to sleep? Come here, won't you? How long have you been awake? I see. And why, pray tell, can't you sleep? A nightmare, you say? I suppose that's to be expected after the recent events. You can talk about it if you want. And then? So that's what you saw. But you do know that it's only a nightmare. It's not going to happen, right? It was all just a dream. Yes, that is true. Everyone eventually dies. Even I will. That is something that no one can run away from. Not even the Archons themselves. But that doesn't mean that your siblings are going to die when you're still young, or that they'll all die at the same time. They're safe here. You still have a lot of time before they do. This family, your siblings, they're still alive. And they're very much in good health right now. You can go and check for yourself tomorrow, once they're awake. I assure you, none of them are going to die anytime soon. The missions? Yes. Indeed, they can be dangerous. But, first off, I would never send them all at the same time. Second off, there are safety measures. If they listen and listen well, then none of them would be dying. And I'm sure your siblings would know better. You believe in them, do you not? That's a good answer. Do you want to stay here tonight? I suppose you will not be sleeping anytime soon on your own, and you have a lot to do tomorrow. I would not want to be behind on our schedule. You may stay here with me, if you want. But you will not get used to this, alright? Very well. Lay down. And you want me to read you a story? Well, I do not have a passion for fairy tales, but I've heard many as a child, and I'm sure I can tell you one. Let me try to think. Ah, yes. Now I do remember one, but it's not exactly reassuring. Are you quite sure you still want to listen? It's your choice. But do remember that I warned you. Alright, I'm starting. Be patient. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a young orphan named Lily. Lily's parents died when she was young, but her older brother took good care of her. He'd worked every day to earn money and make sure that she's content and happy. Lily may be young, but every night, when her brother is already fast asleep, she'd sneak out of the house to wander around outside. Now, her brother has told her repeatedly not to do that it's far too dangerous to be out and about alone in the dark. But the young girl never listened. I'll tell you what happened next. Just you wait. One fateful night, while Lily was still out in the dark, she lost her way and found herself utterly lost and alone in the forest. In the vast darkness, the girl panicked and cried out, knowing that her brother would be extremely worried when she did not return home. But Her cries for help were only met with silence. No one was around, save for the rustling in the trees and the howling of the wind in the night. And eventually the young girl's calls grew hoarse. She was tired and scared, but she kept on walking, hoping that sooner or later that she would find her way back home. She'd continued wandering by herself when suddenly a voice called out to her. The voice rang out through the fog, calling her name, and when she turned around, she found a tall hooded figure standing amongst the trees. The hood hid the figure's face in the shadows, but the voice sounded exactly like her brother's. The wary girl stopped, her heart immediately filled with relief at the sight of the tall, familiar person. She excitedly called out to the figure, thinking that her brother had gone out to look for her as soon as he realized that she was not home. For some reason, the figure did not immediately respond. But then, a cold hand suddenly reached out to her, and she held on to it, only to realize that this figure was death itself. And it continued to lead her further into the forest, deeper and deeper, right to where her grave would be. And that was the only thing her brother had left to see. Not a very cheerful story, is it? But I'd heard many iterations of it as a child, and it seems to be a warning. I do not believe that this folktale is real. However, it is simply a cautionary tale, so no wonder it was a popular one to tell children, especially naughty ones, like the ones that I have. Oh, I don't mean you. You're by far the least frustrating one to deal with, and you know why that is. Indeed, you do not disobey my orders, and you know they exist for a reason, which is all I really ask. Some of your siblings, however, are quite eager to help me in ways they are not yet able to, and that results in them getting injured and you worrying. Perhaps if I had seen them when they were younger, had I told them the story, they would have been more cautious as of now. However, it is a possibility that's worthless to ponder on, for we're not in the past, and we can only focus on the present. And right now, in this present time, I do hope the story was not too scary for you. That's good to hear. Now go to sleep. I still have some paperwork, so I'll be right here. Don't you worry. Good night, my dear child.